Well, welcome back to Mid Norfolk and the solar farm project. All 90 panels are now in place and the wiring's been laid into the framework. We think they're looking rather good and very subtle. The effect of putting the black panels over the galvanized steel frames really reduced the impact on the environment. And from this distance, really, by running the 3 rows in parallel as single piles of solar panels, we haven't got the height that you would have with a twin normal setup array where one panel sits on top of the other, but we have got an extremely long length of solar in 90 panel, 9 strings, each with 10 panels per string. Now from this end you'll see the spacing between the rows has been chosen to hopefully avoid any shading of the row behind the row in front, even at the lowest arc of the sun around in middle of December here in Norfolk. And you'll also notice that the angle of the panels is different on the rear row. This is to try and maximize the potential solar output, especially during those low solar arc months of November, December, January and February. By angling the back row more towards the sun, it's going to hopefully produce a little bit more power during those difficult months when your solar generation is much reduced. It's interesting seeing this, that they've put this tensioner or stay between the upright supports, one at either end of each run, just to really prevent any lateral movement on these once these are tightened. The wires are running all in situ now along this culvert, a natural culvert that's formed in the back of the longitudinal support, the utmost support, and a lot of the solars are actually plugged into this using the standard connectors. You'll see one here where they started to connect the individual runs. So at this end we're down to just 2 cables, an input and an output, whereas at the near end we've got 4 1.5 kilovolt DC solar cables coming out. So nothing's wired up yet. We've got all these sunk into the ground and they are ready to be bonded to, but haven't been connected to the multi-core cable, which is the center one coming up there with the green cap on it. That's the cable that runs all the way back to the plant room where the inverter is going to be housed with all the other electronics. So we're hopefully this week going to have arriving on site some electricians, now that the engineers have done all their work in terms of getting all these panels into position, with all the wiring ready for the electricians to come in and hopefully get us commissioned before the end of October. Waiting to hear from the company this week to find out exactly what's happening, whether the equipment's available and when we're like to see some further action, because we're absolutely itching to get some power out of these things. Terrible time of year to start generating, but it's never going to be a wrong time with electricity prices doing what they are in the UK here at the moment.